Okay, it's a cold, windy day here in Toronto. We're in Midtown Toronto. I'm with longtime Rockstar VIP member Victoria Suen, and architect as well. And she's gonna be walking us through her recent project for a client in Toronto. It's a single family home to 5-unit conversion, right? So we've got a finished 4-plex that we're gonna check out all 4 units, and then we're gonna go check out the garage, which will be a 5th additional garden suite. Awesome 1-unit to 5-unit project in Toronto. Let's go check it out. So the big idea with this project is in Toronto, you can now take a single family home and convert it to 4 units as of right, meaning you don't need to go through any additional permitting process. It's already like pre-approved by the city, and you get to waive the development charges on all 4 units, correct?
Exactly, yeah, so that's huge. It basically unlocked a lot of former single family neighborhoods. So what used to be, 1 family now could have 4 families and even a 5th family, 5th unit if you have space for a garden suite or laneway suite.
Okay, but if you go from 1 unit to 5 right away, you would have to pay the development charges. But if you go 1 to 4 and then add that 5th later, you don't?
Correct, yeah. So if you're doing a project in Toronto, definitely you have to go through the strategy with your architect in terms of the phasing of your project to make sure that you avoid development charges. For example, here, our client, they wanted to go single family home to 5 units right away. They would have been charged over $200,000 in development charges.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like roughly about 50 grand per unit?
Yeah, exactly. So in Toronto, it really depends on the number of bedrooms that really sets the development charge. But yeah, I'd say around 50K per unit.
Per unit. So then by doing just 1 to 4, 5th one down the line, you're saving $200,000 for this client.
Correct, yeah. So we've actually split this into multiple phases. First, a single family to a 4-plex, no development charges. Then we're going to apply for a second permit for the garden suite, and that will get deferred as part of an application. So we'll get that 5th unit development charge waived as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
How difficult was it to get just the permitting for the 1 to 4 units? Pretty easy?
It takes some time. It's not as fast as a duplex conversion, I will say. These days we're seeing we can get a duplex permit. I got one in 2 days. But typically I'll say 1 to 2 weeks. So it's very quick versus a single family to a 4-plex permit. Give yourself 6 to 8 weeks at the minimum.
Okay, well, we're gonna take you through every single unit and then check out the garden suite at the end. So let's go take a look.
All right, so we're standing right at the front door, just entered into the front unit right here. You can see this used to be a porch and it got enclosed, and then now it's kind of additional living space, so it's great. I will walk you through the property and show you, but it's a funny house that has had many extensions throughout the years, but because of that, there's a lot of floor space, a lot of opportunity to split into multiple units. So if you're looking for a project like this, definitely find a bigger kind of shell or bigger building, and it's a great candidate to split into multiple units. Standing here in the kitchen, living room, it's combined. We have a great open space, and then walking in here, we have a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom, very efficient use of space, standing shower, and yeah, it's kind of great space for a tenant, looking in Midtown. So young professional, so we'll probably estimate around $2,000 to $2,500 in rent, so it'll be a great unit.
Hey, it's Anthony Molinaro from the Your Life, Your Term show, and I've got some exciting news. On Saturday, April 12th, we're hosting our biggest and most in-depth Your Life, Your Terms event yet in Mississauga, Ontario, and space is filling up fast. This is your chance to join us for a transformational day packed with powerful insights, strategies, and connections to help you live life on your terms. We'll be covering the biggest real estate opportunities, what's happening with the Canadian and global economy, how to protect and grow your wealth with Bitcoin and hard assets, and how to use marketing strategies and disruptive technologies to build freedom and income for yourself. But here's the deal. Tickets are going up the closer we get to the event, and with the early flood of registrations, we'll likely be hitting capacity. If you want to guarantee your seat and save some money, register now before it's too late. And remember, if you're a Rockstar Inner Circle member, your tickets are completely free for yourself and your guests. Head over to yourlifeyourtermsevent.com and secure your spot today. You don't want to miss this one. That's yourlifeyourtermsevent.com.
Right, so we're standing right here with a side door. This is actually access to a shared laundry room. So 3 of the units have shared laundry access that will be fire rated and separated from the rest of the units. And you can see here, this building is very narrow, but very long, because over the years, it's had a lot of additions, but it's a funky little house, but a great way to split into multiple units. We'll show you one of the units at the back, because the ground floor is actually split front unit and then a rear unit. So the very long house made it ideal to have two one-bedroom units on one floor. So looking right here, you can see that there are 5 meters actually. So each unit has their own meter, plus the 5th is for the common meter. So any shared elements, maybe the laundry room, mechanicals, whatnot. And one thing to keep in mind when you're doing a multiplex, especially at 4 units and above, is make sure that you have your electrician or an engineer calculate your electrical load, because when you're looking at more units, you're pushing potentially into 400 amp service, which is significant in terms of cost. From 200 to 400, a 200 amp upgrade is maybe a couple $1,000s versus 400 amp upgrades. I've seen clients anywhere from $50,000 to $90,000 for that upgrade. So not a small line item you want to forget about, and make sure that you potentially accommodate that if it's necessary. In this case, we were still able to keep the electrical loads to a minimum, so they're still on 200 amp service, while still being able to split the bills for the tenants to take that on. So we're standing in the 2nd floor unit. It's a 1-bedroom unit, and just want to point out all the units have ductless heat pumps as the heating and cooling system. The nice thing about that is you don't have any bulkheads, right? Because they're not ducted. And each unit has their own individual control, so they're not fighting to turn on the furnace, hotter or cooler, depending on where they're at. And then in addition, we also need to install a ERV. And essentially this unit brings in fresh air. Because the heat pumps are not a air system, you don't have fresh supply of air. So this is what this unit does. It exhausts old air, it pulls in fresh air, keeps the air circulating, and it's required by building code. So each unit has their own. So we're standing in the living room here. I'll show you, this is the kitchen, open concept, beautiful view out to the backyard. Here is a 3-piece bath, stand-up shower. So it has, great finishes overall. And then at the far end, we have a bedroom that faces to the street. Kept the original windows, nice natural light, and yeah, great 1-bedroom unit.
So one thing I love that they did is all the finishings in all 4 units of the home are the exact same. The exact same flooring, baseboards, trim, countertops, backsplash, faucets, appliances, everything, tiles in the bathroom. It's all the same finishings, and it's great for a few reasons. 1, you get bulk discounts when you buy all this stuff for the whole house. 2, for any repairs that are needed, it keeps it really easy because you know the exact paint color, you know the exact flooring that you have to put in, and it's the same for all the units. So it minimizes stress and decisions to make as a landlord, because you just go back to the same basic stuff that you bought for all 4 units, and it just keeps everything clean, simple, and easy to manage.
All right, so we're standing here in the basement level unit. It's a 2-bedroom unit, and you can see in the background here, we have some glass block. It was actually existing part of the house originally, and we decided to leave it because it still brings in a lot of nice natural light. And the reason why we couldn't turn this into just a regular window was actually there's a percentage glazing that you're allowed on buildings depending on your setback to your property line. And we exceeded that amount. We had a lot of windows coming off that side. So those windows actually had to stay glass block, or we would have to enclose it altogether. So again, like it already existed, still brings great natural light. So it's actually a great feature as part of this lower level unit. And then, yeah, same finishes throughout, 2 bedrooms right here. We have the ductless systems, and I'll show you this unit as we walk through. It's really funny. It goes the length of the house, and you'll really see the level changes, which is a result of all the extensions they've done over the years. All right, so walking through here, we have a long corridor, which has our kind of straight kitchen area. We have a small little bathroom here off to the side. And then coming along here, we have, this unit has its own dedicated stack laundry, has a 2nd bathroom. And then this 3rd room, it's nicely finished. In Toronto, maybe it flexes as a third bedroom, but it's actually the mechanical room that's beautifully finished. Have a sump pump here that will actually take out any excess water and then kind of take it out to the outside. And then we have a shared water tank for all units and beautiful arrangement of the hot and cold water that could be separately sub-metered if they wish. So we're standing here on the ground floor rear unit. So this is the back half of the house. It's a 1-bedroom unit as well. The lot is actually a little bit sloped downwards. So if we step in right here, you can take a look. There's a balcony that has a beautiful view to the backyard. And here we have a kitchen that opens onto the living room. And just wanted to point out that the stove is gas, actually. And one of the strategies here to avoid the high electrical upgrade to 400 amps was to make all the stoves gas and any laundry machine gas as well. This would reduce the electrical load and allow us to stay to 200 amps. So that would reduce the cost of the renovation ultimately. As we move to the back, we have 1-bedroom unit, sliding doors, private balcony, and that kind of has a great view to the yard. We kind of back onto a ravine, so there's a kind of nice view there. And then stepping this way, we have another bedroom. Technically, we have to call one of these rooms a dining room to meet the building code areas, but depending on how they rent it out, they might kind of call it a 2-bedroom to get some premium rents. And then we have the main bathroom right here, 3-piece bathroom, tub, shower, and all the same finishes. So we're standing right here in front of the garage that will be the future 5th unit of this property. It's a great building because it's concrete block, really solid, and it's going to be turned into a 1-bedroom apartment. Has a funny little window up here, potentially for a loft space if they want it. So yeah, it's gonna be a really cool 5th unit. In terms of rent, probably could rent it around, again, like $2,000, $2,500. It's gonna act like a standalone house, so it'll be a great rental unit.
How long do you have to wait after the 4 units is finished before you apply for the garden suite one in order to get those development charges waived?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Typically, once we get the 4-plex permit in hand, we'll apply for the 5th unit right away. That being said, we can't really get it in place typically until the 4-plex permit is closed and completed construction. So we kind of get all of it kind of lined up. And then as soon as the city tries to collect their development charges, we stop our process and wait till the 4-plex permit is completed, get the 5th unit deferred, get that paperwork processed, and then get the 5th unit kind of permit issued. Including construction, the construction of the 4-plex might take, 8 months, and then the paperwork issuance might take a month or 2. So usually, it causes an 8 to 10 month delay, unfortunately. But if you're saving $50,000 plus, it's probably still worth your while.
So 8 to 10 months, but meanwhile, the 4-plex is still being constructed.
Yeah, because essentially that delay is mostly because you're waiting for that 4-plex to be completed before you're getting that second permit issued.
So it might only be a couple months once it's actually completed to then get the garden suite.
Correct, yeah, because we apply for the 5th unit, the garden suite, get it fully reviewed. So basically the city's ready to issue the building permits, but we kind of stop there so that we don't have to pay the development charges. We wait until the 4-plex is completed, and then once that is done, we apply for the deferral. And then once we get the deferral, we get the permit issued.
Okay,
yeah.
And how difficult has it been to get these garden suite permits?
It's not difficult at all. Technically, if you applied for it on its own, it goes under a fast track permit system in the city of Toronto. So it could be, 2 to 4 weeks, not too long. Yeah.
Okay, so it seems like Toronto is really leaning into, putting their money where their mouth is and making it easier to add densification.
In some ways, I would say. I think if the city was, streamlining it a bit more, I'd say it'd be great if they allowed the rules to go straight from single family to 5 units.
Sure.
And that would encourage a lot of investors to, get these bigger properties, go for commercial financing. But in general, yes, I think there's a lot of good things in place that the city has put in to streamline, increase the kind of amount of units that are coming in, and just make it a lot better, a lot quicker.
But you still have to do these creative workarounds in the meantime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So I can see the importance of working with an architect like you, somebody who's familiar with this process, just because the $200,000 in development charges, if you didn't know what you're doing, man, that'll cost you a pretty penny. So
yeah, I could get you another property, right?
Yeah.
So in Toronto, maybe a full house somewhere else in Ontario, but
yeah. And you mentioned something there about commercial financing.
Yes.
Once you go from one unit, which is you're only going to qualify for residential financing, and you go to those 5 units, you now qualify for CMHC financing and potentially CMHC MLI Select. And that can really, really enhance the numbers on your property because you can get much more favorable financing terms, correct?
Yes, for sure. It's like government financing, a lot lower interest rates, and potentially you're not qualifying on comparables, you're qualifying as like a business asset, right? So the rent that you're generating. So it's a great option, especially as you're looking to scale your portfolio and look for these bigger properties.
Yeah, totally. Plus extended amortizations. So there's a ton of different benefits
For sure.
To that. So Victoria, why don't you give yourself a little shout out? She's a longtime Rockstar VIP member.
Yeah.
We've loved, working with her over the years and having her in the group. So why don't you just call out what you do and how you help investors?
Yeah, so my name is Victoria Suen, and I'm an architect, founder of Buildex Design. We help people with design, anything related to architecture, interior design, building permits. We specialize in multiplex conversions and new builds, and we're doing a lot of projects here in Toronto, so reach out if you have any projects in mind. We're always happy to chat.
Do you do just Toronto?
No, we do all over Ontario, so yeah, reach out if you have a project. Again, we're always happy to chat.
Okay, awesome. And Victoria actually teaches a class for Rockstar Inner Circle members, the Forcing Appreciation class, how to force appreciation for your property. And it's not just doing like a big single family home to 5-unit conversion. It can be smaller scale renovations as well that add value and force the appreciation of your property. So she teaches that class to Rockstar members. And yeah, if you're interested in plugging into an awesome network like this, where you get to meet people like Victoria, where you get to meet other investors doing really cool projects like this one, then join the Rockstar Inner Circle, or at least come check us out. We hold events, and you can even now book a free strategy call with a Rockstar coach to talk to an experienced investor about your goals for real estate investing and what you can do to invest in real estate and ultimately live life on your own terms. So with that, thank you, Victoria, for showing us your project.
Yes,
and,
thank you.
Let's wrap it with the Your Life, Your Terms.
All right, your life, your terms.
Your life, your terms.